Alright then, good afternoon, ladies and gents, and the hills are alive with the sound of motorsport, should we say, as we are in the Austrian Alps this weekend for SKG Tier 1, round 11 of the season, the penultimate round of what has been a fantastic season 16. My name is George Sanderson, and alongside me in the commentary box, as always, is Ollie Lewis. And Ollie, a big night tonight, potentially. We could be having a Drivers' Champion crowned.
Absolutely, yeah. But you never know. It could flip the other way, and all of a sudden, Esko Kalevi could be leading into the final race. You never know. This is SOG Tier 1. Anything can happen. And I'm kind of getting a bit emotional. There's only one more race left this season, and then that's that.
Exactly, it's been a phenomenal season, and well, this has been one that, in my preparation for this race, I think I've made more notes than I've ever made in my life for a race, because there is so much at stake, so many things on the line, whether it's in the Drivers' Championship, the Constructors, whether it's in terms of overall records that could be broken tonight as well. But we start off here with our usual 18-minute qualifying session, and we see a familiar face back on the grid for the first time in a long, long while. Welcome back to SKG Tier 1 Frozen for the first time since Season 14. It has been a 27 race wait for Frozen to return to the grid, and he's back reserving for Aston Martin tonight, potentially with a view to be a full-time driver next season. So we wish him all the best, and he is currently going to be the first man to set a lap time in this session, Ollie.
It'll be Robin. Robin is up through turn 3, so I believe it's the McLaren that will be... Wait.
Frozen's just ahead of him on
track,
mate.
He's in Aston Martin. I was looking at the Ferrari.
I'm going to have to pass it over to you for a sec, 'cause I've got to change my batteries. They're low. What a good start to the stream.
Yeah, great start, yeah, as we're running through with Rosen through the double left-hander there. Obviously, he's the first man to go through that section this session, but he's up to the final two corners, a very, very fast section, into turn 8. Hey, must take that flat out, and then the quick downshift through turn 9, and up to the line comes the Aston Martin, and he does a...
Good lap straight away. That's quicker than the Tier 2 pole immediately, by the way. The Tier 2 pole position time was set by SKG Corruption in the Alpine earlier on this afternoon, and he set a 1 minute 3.200. So we have already eclipsed the time set by him. But I think that time might be beaten in about 2 seconds' time. As up to the line comes Silo, and we're already in the 1 minute 2s. 1 minute 2.8 by the Mercedes, and those of you who watched last week will remember that his banker lap at Kota ended up being enough for pole position as he didn't improve his time. So we could already have seen a potential pole position time there, although Parker not too far behind, Ollie.
Yeah, Parker, yeah. That's where he needs to be. He needs to be up the front. Let's go to GB Sanson with the standings.
Yeah, so we come into this round with Parker needing a 27-point lead at the end of this weekend. If he wants to be realistically crowned champion, he enters this weekend on 131 points, some 23 ahead of Esko Kalevi in second place. He has one hand on that trophy, you could say, and well, I've just seen on the timing boards, Esko Kalevi put himself P2 with his first lap with a 1 minute 2.9. Only two drivers in the 1 minute 2s. One of them is a man looking to set a new record in SKG once again, and the other is the man fighting for the title. So very, very close up at the top. But Parker begins the day on 131, Esko on 108, Catsby, NJ Chick, Tom Campbell and Takubi are the only other drivers mathematically in with a chance. They are on 100, 96 and 83 points respectively. But realistically, you have to say this one is probably a two-horse fight, although Casper and Tom would like to still throw their hat in the ring if something doesn't go to plan for Parker today.
Yeah, speaking of Tom, he's through that final corner and almost hits the wall on the inside and goes fourth. Other
I
man into
have
the
a
1 minute
feeling
twos.
that if he's had a big snap of oversteer on the final corner, that could have been of time to threaten Silo if he had got it
Very true.
clean
As
through the
Lawrence
final
Patton
corner. Because,
missed that.
yeah, Lawrence Patton
Ferrari.
put his Ferrari second, but Tom puts himself between his teammates and his other championship rival. And I think Tom will be quite torn this weekend because, you know, he needs to beat Parker if he is to stand any chance in the championship. I mean, realistically, he needs his teammate not to finish tonight to stand any chance in the championship. But at the same time, will he want to help him out and try and get him that bit higher up? We'll wait and see how the race goes, but I think Tom's main battle is trying to get second place in the championship. He begins the day 12 points behind Esko Kalevi. He is only 4 points behind Katzber in third. I think that will be Tom's battle to be runner-up this season in what has been a very impressive season, actually, from the Australia.
Yeah, he's kind of started the season as not really a favourite, but as the season went on, he just seems to have gotten better and better. I've got to say, after a few pole positions, how many pole positions he's got? 2, is it?
I am just checking. No, he's surprisingly only on 1. In fact, no driver this season has more than 2 pole positions. We've got Takubi Parker and Takubi Nardo
Silo.
and Silo all on 2 poles.
Might change that tonight.
That's one of the things we're keeping our eye out on. Will be tonight. Silo has a chance to break yet more records. He became the first ever driver in SKG Tier 1 to win his first 2 races in the tier, with victory in both legs of the American doubleheader. First in Las Vegas under the lights, and then at the Circuit of the Americas in Texas last week. By doing that, like I say, became the first driver to win his first 2 races. Of course, if he wins tonight, he will also be the first to win his first 3. That goes without saying. But there is also another record on the line. No team and driver combination has ever won 3 consecutive races in the same season. And the last time a team and driver combo won 3 races in a row was all the way back in Season 3. The final 2 rounds of Season 3 and the Season 4 opener, when Mr. Puffs, if people remember that name, that's a long time ago, but Mr. Puffs won the final 2 races of Season 3 and the Season 4 opener. And that was the last time a team and driver has ever won 3 in a row. So a long time ago. And interestingly,
There's been a few
Mercedes
records this
both
season
times as well. What was that, Ollie?
There's been a few records this season. Also, we had the Nardo win.
Yeah, the first Italian win
Italy.
for a long time. We've had driver come in and dominate like we've not seen before. We've had
Takubi breaking the win record.
Yeah, Takubi breaking the win and extending the pole record. We've had Parker reach what is now a 34 race point scoring streak, which is a league record as well, which he could extend to 35 tonight, of course. It's been a very historic season, has season 16, and we come to the Red Bull Ring tonight with the hope for a bit more history as well. But one stat that Silo might not want to hear, as he is currently on his outlap, the last 4 pole sitters at the Red Bull Ring have all retired in the race. So there seems to be a bit of a curse at this circuit for whoever gets pole position.
Well, Silo will be looking to change that as he's on his outlap. I was just keeping an eye on... Who was I keeping an eye on? What? My brain's gone blank. I was on board with somebody and I went off and I can't remember who I was on board with. Oh no.
Well, I'm going to ride on board for a lap with...
expensive.
Not Takubi. Takubi appears to be doing 2 runs. Let's see whether Silo goes for a hot lap, shall we? The man currently on provisional pole by about half a tenth of a second from Lawrence Patton in P2, although Frozen, wow, what a lap. He's just put his Aston Martin up into second place. So onto the front row goes the Canadian in his first race back in a long time. Here goes Silo though. Let's keep an eye on board with the Briton in the Mercedes through turn 1. 4th gear, back on the power early as we now begin the long climb up the hill. A 63 metre elevation change up towards the top of the crest just after turn 3 here. It's the same height as the Leaning Tower of Pisa that the drivers have to climb between the lowest point on the pit straight and the highest point that they're currently at the moment, as Silo goes through the next DRS zone, hard on the brakes into the right-hander, third gear, gets the apex, gets back on the power as quickly as he can, sticks to the right-hand side as it's a double left-hander to come, rides the curb on the outside before swinging it through the corner and pushing the track limits to the absolute limit. Then the second left-hander, sixth gear through there, it's so fast. Turn 7 and then flat out through 8 and towards the final 2 corners. Here comes Silo then, flings the car through the first right-hander and then a slight drop down into 5th gear for the final corner. Up to the line he comes, and that's a 1 minute 2.685 by SCI Silo, and he is well on his way towards a third straight pole position.
Yeah, behind Lawrence Patton, the Ferrari just starting his lap, so we'll see a response in about a minute's time. But yeah, good lap from Frozen. But we just say how, I mean, I've got to say how close our grid is so far. I mean, obviously Silo's just extended that by a tenth and a bit, but from Frozen down to that's probably
now down to Callum. Now all the way down to Callum. I was just watching Katsui and JJ because he came up to the line. He had a 1 minute 5 banker lap. It was not particularly fast at all, but he has put himself up into P12, but the Red Bulls struggling at their home track so far.
Hang on a minute, we have Tom Campbell up by nearly 2.5 tenths, so Tom may trouble maybe even the front row, or will it be possible?
Oh, he invalidates on the final corner!
What was time
and
be?
It would have been the front row, a 1 minute 2.760 from the Australian.
Here comes Takubi though. Wow, lovely lap from
1 minute 2.7 from him, a 1 minute 2.8 from his teammate just behind. The Ferraris are on form here in the Austrian Alps, but Red Bull, they need to be a little bit concerned. This is their home track, remember, and they're being not just both out-qualified by the junior team, by the V-Carbs, but only one of them inside the top 10 at the moment. That is not a good look for them. We're hoping to have AMS Nardo joining this lobby at the moment. I'm just going to give him a little bit of a hurry up because we are well over halfway through to go. Or halfway through this session. He is online,
I've just invited him again, so should see him shortly.
Yeah, hopefully we will get the Italian in. He hasn't raced in SKG Tier 1 since the 5th round of the season at Singapore. He's missed the last 5 rounds. Has retired from 2 of his 4 races, but taken podiums in the other 2, so he has a good record so far. And is, of course, currently still 8th in the championship, though well and truly out of the title question. But, yeah, under 5 minutes to go here in qualifying. And we will hopefully see AMS Nardo become the 18th driver on the grid as we see the Ferraris being pushed back into the garage by their teams there. And yeah, I think we're going to have a little moment of calm perhaps, because Boti has invalidated his lap time and everyone else has come into the pit lane. So we will wait for people to go out, but as Ollie was saying a moment ago, the gap in this session, we are on course for the closest qualifying session of the season so far. Brazil,
there he is.
There is Nardo, so he'll get in and he'll be able to get 1 lap done in this qualifying session. But yeah, we're on course for the closest qualifying of the season so far, not just in the field spread, but also in the gap to P2 currently. Takubi just 43 thousandths of a second behind SCI Silo currently, and the next closest gap actually was at Las Vegas, where it was 92 thousandths. So we've been under a tenth of a second to P2 3 times so far this season. As it stands, we're going to make it 4, but the grid spread, only 7 tenths of a second between 17 drivers, ridiculously close. And it looks like we're about to see people going out for their final runs. And I suspect Lawrence Patton might be doing 2 runs here. I think he's going to do 2 out laps before he goes on his push lap, Ollie. What do you think?
I think he might be spot on with that.
Either that or a very slow outlap, or is he just waving to the Red Bull as he goes past, perhaps? That was the Red Bull of Venzi going past him, and the two of them are wiggling to each other as they head down towards turn 4. The last thing they need here is Nardo decides to start from the back of the field instead. So the last thing these two need is to get each other a penalty for holding the other one up, because we know what this game is like. If you run too close to someone behind you, it quite often gives the lead driver a penalty, but they seem to be safe, and we are going to ride on board with the Ferrari of Lawrence Patten as we begin this final run in quali, just to see, is he beginning a hot lap, or is he going around once again? It looks to me like this may be a hot lap, and indeed it is. We put down the overtake button, we use a bit of battery as we run towards the first turn, uphill apex at turn 1, back on the power early, and that was a nice run through the first corner. Gets to the right hand side as we climb the hill through the flat out left hander of turn 2, and now looking for the braking point for turn 3. Look how far to the left as he's froze the car through the first corner, but backs out of the lap, doesn't get the exit he wanted, and I think Lawrence Patten might be going for a second run. What is Venzi doing behind him? Well, he does appear to be on the lap, getting as much of a tow from the Ferrari as he possibly can towards turn 4, and Venzi looks to be the first one who will be completing a hot lap at the end of this session.
Yeah, Takubi also taking the chance to do a little bit of a warm-up lap as well, so we're going to come alive in about a minute's time when all of these guys are really going for it. I think Silo, is he on one? I think no, he's not.
Well, it looks like Venzi is. I'm looking at the battery. Oh, he has a big snap of oversteer through the penultimate corner at turn 9 there, through the final corner now. Will it be an improvement for the Red Bull? It will by a 1/10 and a quarter, but it's only P6 for the Red Bull, and he definitely lost a bit of time through that final corner.
Ooh.
Lawrence Patten will be starting again. Frozen has invalidated his lap, so
that final corner.
Out the final corner, which also invalidates the following lap from him, so it's P4 at best for the Aston Martin. Silo is on an outlap, so there'll be no improvement from him. How about the McLarens? They are both on outlaps as well, and I think we're going to see a lot of drivers now starting their final run. It's a question of who will actually be the first one to cross the line after a proper lap time, Ollie. That's what we're trying to figure out.
Well, I know who will be the last, and it'll be Parker. Championship leader will be the last man to... Who is that? Anyway, as
Kareem
has off.
Gone deep there. Not too sure who Max Weglars is, but he has left the session. Venzi coming towards the line will be heading back into the pit lane. So it's actually going to be Lawrence Patten, who's the first driver across the line as the checkered flag falls. We have 1 second to go. There it is. Through the final corner goes Lawrence Patten, and up to the line he comes, and it's not an improvement. It's P3 for him. The Aston Martin behind comes into the pits. We've got the Haas of Portuguese Beast currently 13th as he comes up to the line, improves to 11th, not quite inside the top 10 for him. The McLarens coming up. Mark Daniel currently down in 16th. The other McLaren hits the wall on the entry. There'll be no improvement from him. What about the Ferrari of Takubi then? Through the final couple of corners for the Belgian. Can he make it? Yet another pole position in SKG Tier 1. He does go quickest, but how long for, as Silo has 2 corners to go. Through the final corner comes the V-Carb of Tom Campbell. He goes quickest now with a 1 minute 2.6. Silo gets into the 1 minute 2.5s, though that is a phenomenal lap time by the Mercedes, and it looks to be 3 poles in his first 3 races for SCI Silo. What a driver we are witnessing here, Ollie.
I don't know what to say, dude.
As well.
I know. That was really good.
29 thousandths of a second to Tom Campbell in second place, 56 thousandths of a second to Takubi. The top 3 separated by less than a blink of an eye. That is incredibly close, and whilst it may get boring for people if the same drivers get in pole, when the full grid is separated by under 0.8 of a second, the closest qualifying we've had all season, both for the gap to P2 and the gap for the full field, who cares if it's the same driver? That was phenomenal, that session.
Well, it's looking good for the race, and that's how close we are in qualifying.
Absolutely, and we'll take you on a quick rundown through the grid once we get an opportunity to. I'm just waiting for it to give me the pause menu. There we go. So, as you saw, SCI Silo, third pole in his first 3 races. First ever driver to do that, I believe. So that might be another record going his way. Tom Campbell second alongside him on the front row with an all-Ferrari row 3 to Kubi, ahead of his teammate Lawrence Patton. Frozen held on to 5th, with Esko Kalevi in 6th, crucially ahead of Parker, who starts in P8. Venzi, the first Red Bull, in 7th. Robin and Kareem round out the top 10. Kareem, our first Lebanese driver in SKG Tier 1 history, and a 50th nationality to race on this grid. Portuguese Beast is just outside the top 10 alongside AMS Eric. Then it's Mark Daniel and Caspian Jacek all the way down in 14th. Not good for any faint championship hopes he had. Ethan Quigley, AERT Boaty in 16th, and then it's AMS Callum and AMS Nardo to round out the 18. But Ollie, quickly while we wait for our drivers to ready up, early predictions from you.
Silo.
One word answer, and that's all I think it needs to be fair. We'll wait and see if Silo can transfer his pace in the race.
Actually, I've changed my mind.
Oh.
Silo to DNF.
You think the pole position curse is going to continue? As we said in qualifying, for anyone who missed it, the last 4 Red Bull Ring pole sitters in SKG Tier 1 have all retired in the race. That was Takubi back in Season 11, Lewis Jones in Season 12, Harrison in Season 13, and Stephen Vaso last season, racing 2 of them for Sauber, 2 of them for Ferrari. So we've not had a Mercedes pole here since Marcy in Season 10. What can Silo do this time around? We're going to go racing in the Austrian Alps in just a second for the penultimate round of Season 15. Here we go then, folks. We're away at Austria, and it's Silo who holds the lead on the very short run up towards Turn 1 in the background. There was a Haas going down the inside of a few drivers, a little bit of contact, but everyone has made it through the first corner cleanly. The Ferraris side by side as we climb up the hill. Lawrence Patsen with Takubi on his outside line. Can Takubi hold it round the outside with the grip? He's going to try it on his teammates. Still side by side between the 2 Ferraris. But for now, it's Lawrence Patsen who holds on to the position. Takubi tucked up in his teammate Slipstream. Is he going to go for the move into turn 4? He is. Down the inside, front right lockup from the Belgian. He's really trying to force his way through to keep any faint hope of the championship alive. But Lawrence Patsen holds on, Ollie. And I think everyone has made it through the first couple of sectors cleanly and safely.
Well, Caspian Jacek is down to the back. He's had a nightmare start, and the Red Bull's time goes from bad to worse, but Venzi's had a monster start. He's up to P6 between these 2 championship rivals, including Parker, who's trying to go up the inside of Frozen into the penultimate corner. That's really not really an overtaking spot. But yeah, over the line, everyone's got through that first lap pretty good. Very, very close, obviously, as we are predicting it to be. But yeah, Parker, I mean, he's 23 points. He can afford to, I think, be behind Esko Kalevi going into the final race, but I'm sure he wants to get this done a round earlier.
I'm sure he would as well. And interestingly, all the drivers opting for the mediums at the start of this race, as Parker had a look down the inside of Frozen there and ended up instead coming under pressure from FST Robin at the apex, but he has held on to P8. But yeah, everyone on the medium tyres, which is very interesting indeed. No real variation of the setups there, as we see Ethan Quigley drop down to 13th place. He is up 2 places in this race, so it's not been a bad start by the Williams driver. His teammates also up 1 crucially in this race. Esko Kalevi up into 5th and ahead of Parker. As it stands, that gap is closing, but not by too much. It'll still be a 17-point gap if they finish how they currently are.
I'll tell you, one thing we will have to watch out for is penalties. I think this track is a very, very easy one to just run over the curb, and you don't think it's really that bad, but the game will give you a warning, and before you know it, you've got 6 seconds of penalties. I mean, these guys are probably as careful as anybody else in SKG, but even the best are prone to getting the odd warning here and there. So, we'll see how that affects our race, as I think that was Takubi setting the fast lap of the race, but Ferrari's looking strong here.
It was, yeah. Good start by Takubi. I'm just on board with Ethan Quigley at the moment, who's going down the inside of AMS Eric, and there's contact between the two of them. And that was far too late on the brakes by the Williams. I'm sure that will be seeing the stewards there. It was a late move, and I think Ethan panicked because he thought he was going to hit the car ahead of him at the apex, but it caused further contact with Eric instead, and he has dropped all the way down to 15th after that. And is there damage on his car? It looks that way, or is he just coming into the pits? We'll wait and see, but Eric coming in, and we'll wait and see if that is the end of the Alpine drivers' race. But out at the front, I think it might be, and indeed it is. Eric out of the race. It's a second DNF of the season for him after missing the last 6 races. Out at the front, though, Silo has not escaped whatsoever, Ollie.
No, I remember saying from last week that Silo, just his battery level compared to the 2 or 3 behind him, were just astonishingly managing it so well, and now Silo is actually lower than Tom Campbell, so Tom Campbell's doing a better job.
Tom Campbell has a full battery. He is just using that DRS and letting it carry him along. Silo has just over half a battery. There we see the little yellow line on the steering wheel showing how full his battery is, and he's recharging it through the middle sector, but uses a bit of battery on the exit there through turn 8. He is having to push a little bit harder than he was in Kota, that's for sure, and Tom Campbell putting him under some pressure, but likewise Lawrence Patten is not far away either. In fact, the entire 17 drivers in this race are all within a second of the car ahead of them, so it's a very close race so far, this one. And some bad news to the Alpine fans, of course. Their horrible season continues. They are bottom of the drivers standing, constructors standings as it stands, and their only driver tonight retires from this race, so they will stay on 22 points, a long way adrift of Haas by those standards. And it's, well, the 100% record of having a retirement in every race they've competed in this season, as Lawrence Patten looks down the inside. Hello there, the Ferrari, looking down the inside of Tom Campbell. Silo will be using the battery heavily right now to try and escape, but Lawrence has got bored of being behind the V-carb. Can he get the move done? Not this time around, but Silo has taken that opportunity to try and run, but he hasn't escaped the DRS, crucially, still within a second, Ollie. But yeah, that was interesting position to try and make it there by the Briton in the Ferrari.
Yeah, I really was not expecting that. Of all places to go for an overtake, that is one that you don't really associate with having overtakes on. I think you can more think of outside overtakes at that corner, not a sudden dart to the inside, but
yeah,
it
he's
didn't
now
work out
coming
as
under pressure from his teammates.
Takubi.
Lawrence Patten going for that move has woken Takubi up, it seems, as well, as he smells a bit of blood here in the podium positions, but nothing doing for the time being. In fact, it's in the background, I think.
Silo! Silo! Oh my word! Oh, Silo at turn 4, almost losing the car under braking. That was scary as Lawrence again.
Patten is trying it again. This time round the outside, nothing doing there for the Ferrari. But yeah, it's getting racy at the front, and Tom Campbell, well, he's going to have to be strategic here, because how hard does he want to battle to keep hold of second place? Because Silo is starting to get ahead as the pits. Lawrence Patten into the pits, going for the undercut. This could be a smart strategy, though, by the Ferrari driver. It's about lap... Well, it depends where you want to pit. You can pit anywhere from like lap 7 to 10 in this race. If you're going for 2 hards to the end, you can make the pit stop now and still make that strategy work. So Lawrence Patten biting the bullet early, getting out of traffic and going for the undercut. That could be huge for him. Takubi, crucially though, has lost DRS to Tom Campbell in second place. So the other Ferrari dropping a bit further back than he would have liked, and is now having to push to try and catch back up to the V-carb here.
Yeah, one man that is going with Takubi is Esko Kalevi, who's still ahead of Parker with Venzi and Frozen in between. those two guys. So yeah,
Yeah, there's a bit of a buffer there as Silo coming into the pit lane. Did he dip a wheel over the line there? That looked very close. That's one that people will be keeping an eye on come the end of this race. It was very close indeed, and it would be a huge shame if that was to cost him victory in the end. But people have got to be careful at this circuit. The pit entry is very difficult as we see a flurry of action in the pit lane. Everyone coming in, apart from Tom Campbell, Takubi, Nardo, Ethan Quigley, Mark Daniel, Callum and Boaty.
Here comes Lawrence Patton up to turn 1, but it's the Mercedes. There is the Mercedes on the right-hand side. And he doesn't do it. But he has got DRS though.
He has got DRS and he is certainly closer to the race leader than he was before his pit stop. So I wouldn't be surprised as he does a little wiggle there to Silo, saying let's work together here. Let's push as hard as we can. Let's not waste too much time. Because he has escaped Esco Clevi. Look how far back the Williams is. It's almost 2 seconds further back as we see the Lebanese driver Kareem Bands going around the outside with Venzi at turn 4. First Lebanese driver in SKG Tier 1 history, and he's getting stuck in, but it's Venzi who grabs the position and demotes the Mercedes down into P12. But yeah, Lauren's trying to work together with Silo, it seems, and I think we might be seeing them, both of them, jump Tom Campbell, who is now into the pits. Everyone switching on to the hard tyre, as does Tom Campbell. And we'll wait and see how close he is to the race leaders, who are already coming down the pit straight, Ollie.
Yeah, indeed. Out comes the Racing Bulls, and yeah, he will be behind. And Takubi will fall behind Esco Clevi, will he? Yes, he will. So and Venti too, as well as I think Kareem. Takubi's just been dropped. And he's going to get like swallowed up here.
Yeah, he has no DRS. Will he go for the switchback here though on the Mercedes, or will he go around the outside? He's trying it around the outside. It's Kareem who gets the move done. So Takubi down to 9th. Tom Campbell up in 5th. That has been a nightmare for the Belgian. Can he make the move at turn 4? We're almost going 3 wide. All this contact. Frozen goes into the back of Kareem, and the Mercedes goes deep at the corner. Huge contact damage on the Mercedes. And that might be Kareem's debut ending in nightmare there, as he's only just made his pit stop. His tyres are 2 laps old, but now he has front wing damage. And Mark Daniel and Boaty both into the pit lane. Is there damage on Frozen's Aston Martin though? I believe there is, and into the pits he comes, and that's a McLaren hit in the back of him. He wasn't sure if he was coming into the pit lane.
Oh, Parker got caught up in that incident between the McLaren trying to come into the pit lane. Oh, Frozen retires.
Frozen retires because he picked up damage in that incident. Frozen saw the gap on the outside at turn 4, but the gap closed because of Kareem shutting the door late on with Parker down his inside. And yeah, the two of them came together, damage for both, and they are both out of this race. Not the way that Lebanon would have been hoping their first race in SKG Tier 1 would have gone. What was that?
I've thought of a terrible pun.
Oh,
I can associate with the little incident between Kareem and Frozen is Kareem being Lebanese. Obviously, they have a green tree in their flag, and Kareem was off to the green trees with the line he was taking through turn 4.
Oh, that was pretty poor, Ollie. That was pretty poor.
No.
But yeah, what has happened in the meantime? Takubi is onto the back of Esco Calevi, but he needs to get a move on because you can see on the gap to leader there is a big gap between Venzi and Tom Campbell as Parker sets the fastest lap of this race. But Venzi 1.6 seconds back from the top 3. That is a nightmare for him, as we now see Boaty retire from the session as well. I believe he might have been caught up in an incident himself. And we are down to 14 drivers, but Venzi has been dropped by the top 3, and for Esco Clevi, it's time for him to get a move on. I think in the inside he goes, and that is a simple overtake for the Williams. Takubi's going to follow through as well, and very nicely done by the Ferrari there. He spotted the opportunity. Venzi perhaps didn't see it coming, although he has used all his battery, I just saw there, on his steering wheel, and Takubi takes advantage. He's back up into 5th place, and Esco Clevi has his 2-car cushion to his championship rival once again. 1.4 seconds back from Tom Campbell, who no doubt will be fighting for his life to try and get past Lawrence Patten, who made the undercut work in the end, although Tom now with 2 lap fresher tyres.
Yeah, and Parker has actually now joined this little DRS train that goes up to Svekalevi. So yeah, crucial for Parker after I think he had a kind of slow stop as he kind of fell down.
Pushing hard, and so's Lawrence Patton. We might see a move for the lead here. Lawrence Patton has a look down the inside of Silo, but goes defensive, and Tom Campbell does a lovely switchback at the top of the hill. That was textbook, and they'll be side by side at the top of the hill on the back straight. The Ferrari squeezes him towards the inside, but Tom is having none of it. Down the inside he goes anyway, and he gets the move just about done. Can he complete it towards the next corner? He squeezes him back, and Lawrence Patton is not letting this fight go easily whatsoever. Down the inside is the Ferrari, the V-Carb touching the gravel, and he just holds on to the position, Lawrence Patton, but that has cost him quite a bit of time to the car ahead. And also a lot of battery. Is Silo going to allow the Ferrari to close back up? Or is Silo going to take this as his opportunity to check out and run away at the front of the field? In the background, Takubi has got past Esko Kalevi as well, but the gap still 2 seconds between the top 3 and the Ferrari in 4th.
As Tom Campbell's gotten through again, but Silo 1.2 ahead. Has the damage been done between these two battling?
It was a fantastic battle. But yeah, that might be game, set and match for the Mercedes at this rate. Although, of course, we are expecting a second round of pit stops. So these guys will have a chance to try and undercut the Mercedes, who currently leads this race. But Silo has used a lot of battery, by the way, to get away from Tom Campbell. He is down to practically 0 battery. Tom Campbell, similarly, has used a lot of battery to close back up within a second, crucially. And he's almost dropped Lawrence Patton as well, who is almost a second back and has used all of his battery. It just ticked to 0 there through the final corner, and I think he is just as Robin has gone off. And will return to the track, but a long way down. That might be the end of the McLaren's race. Out at the front, though, Tom Campbell is within DRS, crucially. Is Lawrence Patton? No. The Ferrari has been dropped, and now we have a 2-man train at the front of the field.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Tom Campbell, he's after blood. He's looking so good this race. His pace has been electric. I mean, even qualifying, you saw how good Tom Campbell was. I mean, at the end, he obviously snatched away pole position from Takubi, who then took it, and then obviously Silo took it back, but the gap was, just nothing. So Tom Campbell really is a contender for this race.
Absolutely. Your mic is playing up a little bit, we're hearing in chat.
Oh, not again.
Yeah, it's begun doing it again, so I'm not sure if there's any way. I can't remember how you fixed it last time.
I don't think I even did anything. I think I just did it myself, to be honest.
We will try our best, chat, to try and get it a little bit less robotic and less R2-D2 sounding, but we'll work on it throughout the race for you there. But out at the front, Tom Campbell has stayed with the Mercedes. He's actually going out of the slipstream to break the toe there, to not get too close going into turn 1. Further back, Takubi is within a second of his teammates, so we could see a battle for the final spot on the podium here. Or is Lawrence going to play the team game, do you think, Ollie? Is this him trying to help his teammate get as close to the front as he can?
I'll be honest, I didn't really catch that first part because I was sorting out my microphone, so yeah.
I was asking you, do you think Lawrence letting Takubi back within DRS is a tactic to try and get Takubi up onto the podium and give him the best possible shot in the championship, if there is to be any shot? Or is this just Lawrence now struggling for pace?
I think it might be Lawrence struggling for pace. I mean, his tyres are 2 laps older than Takubi's, and he was battling with Tom Campbell hard, so he may have chewed him up maybe a bit too much, maybe just falling a little bit further back. But yeah, he's nearly 2 seconds behind now, the front 2. So I think this may just be Lawrence Patton possibly falling off, but hard to tell.
I think one thing we might try, just while we're in a bit of a, we're in a bit of a lull, Tom Campbell is getting very close to the race lead, but not close enough to make the overtake stick. I'm wondering whether if I start a party and invite you to that, it may fix the microphone, because sometimes just swapping the party host has helped it out.
Yeah, we can do that.
We'll give it a try, as I just saw a lock-up for Silo, but I don't believe it has cost him at all. Let's... There we go. Let's try and sort out the mic for you, but a little lock-up there from Silo. It's nothing doing in terms of changing position. Welcome back to the call, Ollie. Oh, Tom Campbell, 3-second time penalty through the final corner. And that might be crucial. That I don't want to say that might be race, because Silo looked very close to the white line on
Silo
the
has no warnings.
pit exit, but Silo with no warnings. However, if he is told off for his pit entrance, as we see a change of lead for the first time in this race. Big lock-up from Tom Campbell, and Silo thinking of the cutback perhaps. He uses a bit of battery. Will he get close enough at the end of the straight? Indeed he is. Down the inside goes the Mercedes, and that is textbook from Silo as he gets the position back and holds on to it as well, as Tom does have a brief look down the inside, but nothing doing. Takubi has got past his teammates and is into third place, but he has 2.6 seconds to try and overcome if he wants to be in the fight for the win in this race. And I think he might have just got a warning there, because he went off into the gravel briefly, which means he will have had all four wheels off the outside of track limits. Little shout out as well to Nardo here. From the back of the field, from P18, he is in this front pack. There is quite a big gap between Katsby and Jacek, who retires from the session, and with it is out of the championship fight. Not too sure what happened to the Red Bull there, but that is him out of the race.
Back comes Tom Campbell.
And side by side on the exit, Tom is going to squeeze the Mercedes on the exit and try and hold on to the position. He's doing the best he can, but I don't think he'll be good enough. No, it won't. Silo back through with ease, as we see Lawrence Patten getting closer. A bit of a lock-up in the background. I believe that was Esko Kalevi. But yeah, so we are down to a 4-horse race then in the championship picture at the moment, with Parker as it stands. This will be, let's just have a look who has the fastest lap. That is Parker, crucially. So Parker with the fastest lap in 7th place at the moment is on 138 points. Esko Kalevi in 5th will be on 118, whereas Tom Campbell in 2nd will be on 114, and Takubi as it stands, despite being in 3rd and ahead of Parker, will be on 98 points and 40 points off the championship lead. He is out of the championship picture as things stand, and that's only getting worse as he drops down into 4th place. Silo drops back down into 2nd, and there's a little tap on the rear of Tom Campbell there at the apex, and a little slide from the V-carb as well. This time around he defends the inside line and forces Silo to the outside, but it's not stopping that Mercedes. He gets back through into the race lead. Another right front lockup though. That time might be feeling a little worse for wears if he keeps on doing that. Takubi has also got back past his teammates and up into the podium places again. So it's a lot of swapping around, but not much actual position changing in the long run.
I've just noticed something in our little order we have, our currently little train that we have going on. It's in 6th, 7th, and 8th. We have Venzi, Parker, and Nardo. The first three that kind of we thought were going to be the championship favourites.
Yeah, they were. Yeah. Back in, where was it? It was those three on the podium at Monza.
Italy.
They were they were the top three in Australia before Nardo retired late on. As we're about to see Tom Campbell squeezed to the inside by Silo. That was naughty between the two of them, and Silo back down the inside. It's getting a little bit... Oh, there's more contact between the two of them at the top of the hill. It's getting a bit feisty now between the top two, and here comes Takubi. He's back in the DRS, and I think the gloves are well and truly off now between Silo and Tom Campbell. That was a little bit naughty, I think, from the Mercedes. He pushed the V-carb fully off, and I doubt Tom Campbell would have put himself in a gap that was closed from the very start. I feel like he went into a gap that then got closed on him, but we'll wait and see if the stewards look into that one. But I tell you what, Takubi is going to be rubbing his hands together at the moment. Third place, no penalties to his name at the moment, and as far as we know, none looming over his head either for any incidents. He is well and truly in the fight for the win now, Ollie.
Yeah, inviting Takubi in it's like, it's a deadly invitation for anybody else, inviting Takubi for a fight for the win, because he will most certainly be there, and he is there.
He absolutely will, and Takubi is... Oh, look how much he closes up in the braking zone there. He gains a whole tenth of a second on them under braking. Silo perhaps backing Tom up into the battle here, and Takubi has a front row seat to anything that happens between the two of them. Silo going for that record, becoming the first driver and team combo to win 3 races in a row in the same season. But Tom Campbell would love to stop that. He would love to bring himself into the championship picture as best he can. If he was to win this race and everyone else stayed the same, he would be second in the championship and only 17 points behind his teammates, as I think Silo into the pits. I didn't see his pit entrance there. He's also being joined by the Ferrari of Lawrence Patten, who once again goes to the undercut. And now Tom Campbell leads. He has Takubi behind him, Esko Kalevi as well, Parker into the pits as well, Ollie. This might be the moment that Parker brings himself into the conversation as well.
Yeah, this is huge. I mean, he was behind Venzi and, crucially, his rival Esko Kalevi. All he needs to do is outscore him by 3 points. And going for the undercut, we know how powerful it can be. So, really watch out for Parker here.
Absolutely, and I am almost 100% certain we are going to see Tom Campbell and Takubi come into the pit lane at the end of this lap. So we will keep an eye on them. Everyone going onto the hard tyres again, almost half the field pitting. The bottom 5 of our 12 runners into the pits there. And they've all gone for fresh, hard tyres. Lawrence Patten 2.2 seconds back from Silo in all this, but Parker only half a second back from the Ferrari ahead of him. Let's keep an eye then. Takubi is coming in. Tom Campbell, though, is staying out, Ollie.
That is very interesting.
And another 3-second time penalty. That might be race and championship over for the Australian. I think... I have a feeling one of his warnings probably came when he was being squeezed off the track by Silo, so he could likely get that warning removed, but I'm not sure about the other 5 that he has got in this race. Takubi into the pits though, and he's coming back out. Look on the right hand side, there goes Silo already through turn 1. It's the battle with Parker that we're most interested in, as Takubi comes out of the pits in a perfect position, I think, there. He might just about be able to hold on to the position ahead of his championship rival, and Lawrence Patten defends the inside. No, he doesn't. He does the very teammately thing. That was contact, right?
Yeah, that was Parker in the back of Lawrence Patten. Hopefully no damage for the V-car. Oh, I thought that was
Lawrence Patten is playing the team game. Look at the squeeze on the V-carb there. He squeezes him to the inside. He goes to the switchback, and it's lovely from Lawrence Patten. It was an aggressive squeeze, but fantastic stuff between the two of them. And Lawrence Patten is becoming a master of defence. Once again, he did it in Kota to help Takubi hold on to what was a 5th place in the end. He's trying to do it again, and look at the gap he's given his teammates already, backing Parker up into the pack. Esko Kalevi is down in 7th, by the way. He's out behind Parker, which could be crucial. But Lawrence Patten doing a fantastic job there, Ollie.
Oh, 100%, yeah. He's making a name for himself as being a bit of a defensive master, like you said. And he's showing it again as Tom Campbell emerges behind his teammate. So, I think it was a bit of a bad call from Racing Bulls, or just Tom Campbell to come in that late, and I think his race might be over and championship hopes, unfortunately. One thing I was thinking about here, well, before Tom Campbell emerged behind Parker, is that Venzi, if he passes Esko Kalevi, then Parker would be champion.
Yeah, so the Red Bull main team could help out the Red Bull junior team here. It's quite often been the case in SKG Tier 1 where Red Bull have been worse than VCarb in the Constructors' standings. In fact, Red Bull haven't won a championship since Season 7, whereas VCarb won it with Takubi in Season 12. So VCarb have generally been the better team out of the two of them, at least in this tier. But Venzi would love to have a say in the championship, I am sure. He may not be in the championship fight himself, but he could have a huge impact. But one thing that I've seen be mentioned in chat as well, GG Silo, 2.4 seconds clear now of Takubi. This is the Mercedes man's race to lose again. He is dominant at the front. He is clear of the Belgian. And, well, Takubi has used a lot of battery, so has Silo. But that undercut seems to have been crucial for the Mercedes. The question is, does he get in trouble for, first of all, his pit entry for his first pit stop? Was it over the line? And secondly, that battle with Tom Campbell, did he cross the line in his defence? That is going to be one to keep an eye on. Takubi is closing though, 2.1 seconds now. We know how quick the Belgian is, the most pole positions and most race wins of any driver in this league. He's looking for race win number 12 today, whereas Silo is looking for 3 from his first 3 and to break yet more records. But Takubi is trying to chase him down. Nardo comes into the pits for a set of mediums, Ollie. That's interesting.
Yeah, he's going to merge. I think it's P9. Yes, it is. So, yeah, if Nardo can pull something out of here, then he might generally be in the fight for maybe even a podium.
The one thing I want to ask, could you ever check for me, how many laps did Nardo do on the mediums in the first stint? Because he's gone medium, hard, medium, whereas everyone else has gone 2 sets of 8 laps. Ooh, those mediums might be struggling at the end of this race. Nardo will be quick at the start, and you've already seen that as he gets past AMS Callum. But come the end of this race,
quite a few penalties, pretty sure.
Yeah, come the end of this race, he might be
6
struggling.
seconds.
There is a look at the penalties. Tom Campbell and Nardo both on 6. Portuguese Beast picked up a 10-second penalty earlier on in this race at his second pit stop for speeding into the pit lane. They've also got 3 seconds for Venzi and Mark Daniel, who has just got past the Haas in the battle for that last points-paying position. Tom Campbell sets the fastest lap of the race, and that, well, that is purely for pride at the moment, as his championship is well and truly over as things stand.
Yeah, he's actually passed his teammate Parker, and that's now, well, put him just ahead of his championship of Esco Clay. The things, I think Parker can still be quite comfortable where he is. He's gonna lose points, but I think his gap is just so big that I think he can probably be happy where he is at the moment. But crucially, Takubi is gaining.
Yeah, he can afford to lose those points. Takubi is gaining in the battle for the win at the moment. So that will be one to keep an eye out on moving forward in this race. I'm just taking a look at the moment at the live standings that I've got up on my computer ahead of me. And right now, Parker is not champion, but he is oh so close. He is 25 points clear as things stand, and Esco Klevi behind him.
Flag. Portuguese Beast and quickly have had off.
Oh, and that might just change the picture in the point standings as well, because Williams were 6th and 10th as things stood with the penalties in this race, but with Ethan Quigley now 6 seconds back from Mark Daniel, that's not looking so good for the Williams to get that final points paying position. What is looking good is Takubi closing up on Silo, 1.7 seconds the difference at the moment.
And Silo has used so much battery.
Yeah, Takubi's also used quite a lot. They're about similar battery levels, as is Lawrence Patten. It's Tom Campbell, who once again is managing to hold on to all his battery. But yeah, as things stand, Parker is not champion. He is 25 points clear going into the final race of the season, which would mean he could well be champion almost straight after qualifying if he was to pick up pole position or Esco Klevi wasn't. But it would not be confirmed.
I'll tell you what, yeah. Esco Klevi has 2 warnings that he got on the 3rd and 4th lap, and has got another warning since, so basically, if he gets a penalty, then he just needs Venzi to pass him. Then that's that.
1.3 seconds here between Takubi and Silo. He is closing and closing. It's slow progress for the Belgian, but it is progress nonetheless, and he has time on his side as well. Lap 29 of 36 here at Austria. It is one of the longest races in terms of laps. In fact, it is joint longest with Brazil on our calendar this season. Only Monaco has more laps, but SKG Tier 1 still yet to visit the Principality. And perhaps for good reason. Maybe that'll be something they do on an anniversary season or something, season 20. But yeah, Takubi 1.4 seconds back. Tom Campbell gets another 3 seconds, and I mean, there was no doubt that the championship is over for him. It's over, I'm afraid. Tom Campbell will be dropping a number of places back to about P8, I believe, at a guess. And that will promote Parker to 4th and Esko Kalevi to 5th, but the title will still not be won, as that would stand.
Yeah, Ethan Quigley in the Williams has gone off. Had another off. I think he's going to come into pit lane, and that will be the end of his race. And they'll be down to 10 runners, so everyone will score a point, as Tom Campbell has cleared the Ferrari now, so I think he's out to get Silo, to be honest.
I think he might be as well.
Oh! Tom Campbell spun!
Oh, he's round, and oh, what
a
fantastic season from Tom Campbell comes to a horrible end. I don't think Ethan Quigley is retiring, by the way. I think he's going to try and steal the fastest lap point away from VCARB to help Williams in the Constructors' battle. Williams are trying their best to hold Ferrari behind, and, well, at the moment, it's not working for them. Ferrari, as it stands, 2nd and 3rd, with Williams down in 5th and 11th. And, well, Ferrari are up into 3rd in the Constructors if it ends like this. But Ethan Quigley doing his bits nonetheless, and he'll be hoping for a good result. This has promoted Parker up into 4th, though.
Yeah.
Esko Kalevi in 5th. Tom Campbell, championship picture looks over for him, but he can at least try and still battle for potentially 2nd in the championship still. Esko Kalevi, I'm just trying to figure out the live results.
Parker passes Lawrence Patton, then that's it. Parker is champion.
Yeah, he will be.
But this is it.
As it stands, Tom Campbell will be dropping to... Trying to figure out where that will be. He's going to get 9 seconds added to his time. He will be, I believe, 8th or 9th, realistically, at the flag here, as Lawrence Patton is doing his best to hold Parker up here and just make sure that Takubi is unchallenged for that 2nd place, and Takubi is trying his best to get within the DRS of Silo. This is an absolute battle of the Titans here. You've got the all-time GOAT in SKG Tier 1 with the most quality pole positions and race wins versus the new kid on the block who has won his first 2 races from pole and is hoping to make it 3 from 3. 3 perfect races as well, pole position and race win. Silo is flying. Takubi, though, has matched him today, you have to say. He was there or thereabouts with him in qualifying, and if it wasn't for a bad getaway on the first lap, he could well have been fighting for the win much sooner in this race. The gap comes down again. It's 1.2 seconds now with 4 laps to go at the end of this one.
Yeah, Parker is so close. Like, Parker can see his first World Championship ahead of him. That is it. P3 will make Parker champion for the first time. And he's closing very close to the penultimate corner. Heart in mouth stuff here from me.
I mean, I appreciate the defence from Lawrence Patton here. It's, you know, but it's not helping Takubi's race as Parker looks to the outside here. Nardo retires in the pits, interestingly, and Lawrence Patton is holding them up, and here comes Esko Kalevi. I mean, Lawrence is making the championship fight interesting at least, but he doesn't need to. This isn't going to help Takubi. Takubi is out of the championship here as Parker down the inside, 3 wide into the hairpin. Into the top of the hill rather, and Lawrence Patton with the switchback, with the DRS. Parker might be swallowed up here, and we're almost going 3 wide. Lawrence Patton covers the inside. Esko Kalevi down the inside of the American at turn 4, trying to get the move done. Can the Williams make it stick? We ride on board with him now, and indeed he can. He gets the position and gets ahead of Parker. That is not what Parker needed, but it isn't the end of the world for him. His title...
in DRS.
His title can't be lost today, Parker, but it most certainly can be won. Takubi is smelling a race win here. He's within a second of Silo, and both of them are pushing like hell. They are both burning battery. They both have no battery left. This is proper racing between these two. They're yet to do battle on track, but we could be seeing that soon. But they are pushing their cars as hard as physically possible. Let's jump back, though, to the battle for third, as Lawrence Patsen has Esko Kalevi behind him. Round the outside goes the Finnish driver, and he gets the move done. And is Lawrence Patsen perhaps favouring Esko Kalevi here? Perhaps he's like us and wants to see this race go to the final round of the season. Or perhaps he's just wanting to race hard. Down the inside goes the Ferrari, and that position is his all over again.
Yeah, Lawrence is giving us a good bit of action.
Lawrence in the last two races has provided so much entertainment by just being a moving chicane, essentially. And you know what? Fair play to him, because he's got two decent results out of it as well. He was 8th last weekend at Kota. He's fighting for a podium here, and I'm sure he'd love to get a podium as well. But yeah, fair play. He's provided some very interesting racing. Out at the front, look how close Takubi now is. The penultimate lap here in Austria, ladies and gents. How this has flown by in this final stint. Takubi has well and truly caught up to Silo, but he's not close enough this time around. What about Esko Kalevi? Can he make a move on Lawrence Patton, or is he going to bide his time and wait it out for the final lap? Parker in the background gets very close to the Williams, but not close enough to make the move. This could be title defining in the final lap of the race, Ollie.
As behind Tom Campbell, invented. Tom Campbell's going to be inside.
Where's Tom come from? All contact between the two of them. Tom forces him through. I wouldn't be surprised if he feels like he has to give that position back, though. That seemed a bit of a push to pass. But I think with that many penalties, he doesn't really care. He just wants to be back in the championship fight a little bit, if nothing else. But, well, Ollie, strap yourself in. Here we go. One final lap of the Austrian circuit. 4.3 kilometres between us and history. Venzi picks up a time penalty to end the penultimate lap, but we ride on board with Takubi. Is he going to be close enough to make a move at the top of the hill? Tom Campbell is challenging. Parker is challenging his title rival into turn one. Not close enough to make the move that time around, but Silo and Takubi hit each other at the top of the hill. There's contact, and Takubi goes through. The record may be gone. What happened, Ollie? Did you see it?
Yeah, Takubi up the inside. It was a bit like Verstappen and Leclerc in 2019.
And I think Takubi may have accepted blame there, and he lets Silo back through. Silo back into the race lead. Further back is they're battling for the title protagonist. Not this time around. Esko Kalevi has held on to 4th place. Can Takubi get close enough, though, to steal away history from Silo, who still has question marks looming over him for his battle with Tom Campbell earlier? Through the final couple of corners we come. We could be witnessing history. It's a driver and team combo that has won in Vegas, in Kota, and now it wins on track in Austria. Silo free from three poles, 3 wins in his first 3 races. It's never been done before. Behind them, Esko Kalevi is 4th as he comes across the line. He keeps the championship alive to the final round of the season. Once again, it's not a championship yet for Parker, but he is oh so close. Venzi retires, but that was over the line. I believe, was he in 6th place, Ollie?
Yeah, I believe so.
So that would be 6th place for the Red Bull team there. But the headline of the round here, Silo, the first driver since Mr. Puffs and Mercedes back in season 3 and 4 to win 3 races in a row as a driver and team. Phenomenal stuff from him. We'll wait and see what the stewards have to say, though. That is only a provisional win, and that might be the biggest question mark over a victory we've had in a long, long time, because we saw a questionable pit lane entrance from Silo. There have probably been other drivers as well doing the same thing, and also very, very stern defence from him against Tom Campbell. We could yet have a Takubi a record-extending 12th victory of his career, or it could be history with Silo. It's history, whatever happens, Ollie.
Oh, God. Yeah, there's so many talking
And
points
breathe.
from this race. Yeah, it turned into... It was getting to Baku level of chaos. But... Yeah.
Wow.
Where do we start? Where do we start?
Wow. Well, just like in Tier 2 earlier this afternoon, the pole sitter has taken victory there, but not like Tier 2, it was a lot closer. It was 1.5 seconds there, it was half a second here, so extremely close between them. But what a race, that was insane. We'll wait and see what happens in terms of stewards' reports, but I unfortunately, I wouldn't be surprised if Silo doesn't keep this victory, Ollie.
Yeah, it's gonna suck if it's a penalty that denies him that record of 3 in a row. But if that's how quick he is, then he's got the whole of next season
Absolutely.
to break as many records as he can. But
I wouldn't be surprised if we're in a similar situation next season where we're talking about him going for 3 race wins in a row. But, well, one thing we can say, the Austria pole sitter curse has well and truly been broken. The last 4 pole sitters all retired. Silo goes, hold my beer, and goes and wins on track. So, well done to him nonetheless. It was one of the more entertaining races throughout, you'd say. I don't think we've seen that many on-track battles in a race for quite a while, but that was very dramatic. Ollie, I daren't ask who you think Driver of the Day should be, because I think there's many people. There wasn't really a standout in that race. Everyone put on a really good show.
I agree. I think Nardo was doing a good job. I think, he was recovering. Obviously, he did retire in the end, so I don't think it'll be him. Tom Campbell, probably not because of his penalties.
Yeah, he sort of threw it away himself at the end there, didn't he?
Yeah, I'm afraid so, but still a good effort from him. Obviously, Silo doing a good job holding on. I think if I was going to give Driver of the Day to somebody, I would give it to Lawrence Patton.
Fair. That, honestly, I get the reason in there. He made the race very interesting, and he clearly had pace to put it towards the front in qualifying. But yeah, just gave us a lot of entertainment. So fair play, Lawrence Patton, for that. I'm just double checking that Venzi got P6 and didn't retire on the run to the line, because I'm trying to figure out the what's going on, but it seems lots of people not overly happy in that race. I'm seeing a little bit of unhappiness from Tom Campbell, which is, unsurprising, I think, after that one. There was a very dramatic ending between the two of them. But, yeah, I think Venzi was P6, so we're going to take it that he was P6 across the line and then work out the standings from that very quickly before we end this stream. What I can say is the championship battle has continued. That has not come to an end, and we will be going to Mexico City in a couple of weeks. Next week, not in a couple of weeks. Next week for the season finale, with 2 drivers still in with a chance at the title. It will be Parker versus Esko Kalevi, although you have to say it is firmly in Parker's hands, this one. It looks very likely that he will be the Season 16 champion and be crowned that in Season 16. In terms of the championship picture then, we had Takubi in 2nd, we had Esko Kalevi 4th, Parker 5th, Tom Campbell 8th, and Katsby and Jacek retiring. That means after this race, Parker on 141 points provisionally. We will wait and see what happens with Stru's reports, but currently 141 points for Parker, Esko Kalevi 100 120. 21 points between the top two. Takubi climbs from 5th to 3rd in the championship on 100 points. Then Tom Campbell and Catsby and Jachik are tied on 100 points. It is so close in the fight for 3rd in the championship. It will be Catsby and Jachik ahead of Tom Campbell, though, on countback, as Catsby has 3 second-place finishes to Tom's 0. So Catsby 4th, Tom Campbell 5th in the championship. In terms of the constructors, I believe that battle goes on to the final round as well. Red Bull getting 6th and a retirement, or does it? Actually, I don't believe it does. I think VCarb are your Constructors champions. So that looks like that battle is done and dusted as well. VCarb on 241, Red Bull on 195. They are 46 points behind with 45 points remaining. So that championship battle is done. The main battle now is Red Bull 195, Ferrari 166, Williams 152. Who will be second in the championship? A lot of action still to come in Mexico, Ollie.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be quite a race. Obviously, a huge long pit straight, and breaking down someone. Yeah, plenty of action to come.
Absolutely. We will wait and see what happens with Stewart's reports moving forward. But for now, all we can do is look ahead to the season finale. We believe, provisionally, that the Drivers' Championship is still up for grabs. But whatever happens, there is a race win up for grabs on the Mexico City circuit at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez next weekend. Join us on Thursday, as always, 8 PM UK time. Thursday the 2nd of April for Tier 4. Then the same time on Friday night for Tier 3. And then your Super Saturday, as always, with Tier 2 at 5 PM UK time and Tier 1 at 8 PM UK time. Saturday the 4th of April. Put it in your diaries. Put it on your calendars. Stick your notepad on the fridge. Whatever you need to do, do not miss it. It will be a very good race. But for now, Ollie, we'll wish them farewell. And
we will indeed.
I think take a lie down after the end of that race, to be honest. What drama here. The hills were alive with the sound of motorsport. And we will now take it to a fiesta in Mexico next weekend. We'll see you there.